freaking Baker, my man.
What's
Rich,
up, bro?
it's so good, so good.
Man,
Rich,
I wanna
you
give you a hug.
absolutely. I wish we could. When this whole thing's over, first
I will
stop.
come down there and you will show me around your new place.
Love it, love it. Rich, you're one of my all-time best friends, mentors, somebody that I look up to most in life. I've known you since I'm like, what, 12 years old?
Yeah, we actually have pictures of baby Austin. If you guys want to see some of those pictures of him, just probably like 9-year-old, dude. It's so weird.
Yeah,
You're
those
like
were
one of the junior staffers at Hume Lake with us.
Hume Lake Christian camps, running around helping you set up recreation before you were married to your now wife, Allison. What 13 years?
13 years, man. 14 in September, which is going to be awesome.
Crazy. And now you have two kids that are growing up way too fast. August, Isley.
I'm sure they're going to pop their head in here at some point during this time. They're kind of quarantined to, the 2-bedroom house of ours. So there's not too many places to go where we're not with each other. So it's awesome.
And one of the crazy things that I found out just in chatting with you real briefly before this, but on Thursday when the Governor Newsom shut down all of California, Paige and I went up and we picked up our new puppy, which a lot of NineTen has seen. And you guys on that same Thursday, you guys got a pet.
We got a pet the exact same day. I didn't get a puppy though. My wife wanted for her birthday a bunny. So we got a little rabbit.
Yes.
Her name is Little Bit, like Little Rabbit. But she's awesome. She's a good little rabbit.
I love it.
Potty training a rabbit is really weird, Austin.
Yeah.
For the record.
You can do that? Like that's a thing?
You can actually do it. It's for sure a thing. And my wife says that she can get her to wink. I don't know about that, but we'll see. She's young. She's like your puppy. I think she's just a few months old is all. It's crazy.
That's wild. Rich, you worked up at Hume for 14 years, 14 summers, camp director up there, working with high schoolers. You've now been at Arbor Road as a pastor there for 3 years.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wild.
It's crazy how fast that goes. Yeah, Hume. I started at Hume in 2003 and then ended in 2016. So last year was the bingo year, if you remember that. Oh, yeah. Speaking of, this is my daughter, Isley. Want to say hi?
Hi, Isley.
Say hi.
Hi, sis.
She doesn't like to talk much, I guess. You say hi to everybody?
That's fair.
Okay. I got Daddy's filming something real quick. Give us a few minutes. Go,
all right, Baker, give me 3 words that you would use to describe yourself.
3 words to describe me. Yeah, it's such a first one is just like seems weird, but Christian, right? But there's so much I want to say more about that, but like that defines me, Christ follower. But outgoing, I'd say, passionate, I would say. But Christian, there's a lot more I'd like to unpack with that one, but
yeah,
it's only 3 words.
We'll get
Christian
there.
It is.
I couldn't agree more with the outgoing and passionate. I feel like you are one of those people.
Oh, so you disagree with the Christian one? Great,
well,
bro.
no, not at all. But I remember our first time backpacking together ever. It was me, you, Derek, and Blessy, and we were walking the trail, and Derek and Blessy and I were kind of like silent sufferers, just like marching. And then there's you just, dude, look at that tree. Look, that tree is amazing. You see how tall it is? Look at this, the mountains. This is insane.
Do you guys see this? This is nuts. It's
so good. So good. All right. So speaking of backpacking and not being able to, this whole quarantine thing, COVID-19 has locked us all down, kind of made us stay in place, which has been really hard for a lot of us, but there are also some benefits to it. And I'm curious for you, I feel like you're a pretty optimistic person. What do you secretly love about quarantine?
Oh man, gosh, what a hard season it is for so many people. No doubt about that. I think what I've been able to try to enjoy is time with my family. Again, we have a pretty small house here in Long Beach, but it's actually bonded us more together. I mean, we just had a camp out in our backyard on Friday night, and we did s'mores, hot dogs, popcorn over the fire. It was
Heck yeah.
the best. And we haven't done that in 3 years since we lived here. Always talked about it. So I think it's given me an opportunity as a family to actually really get time together. That's for sure a win.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. One of my favorite questions that comes from a mutual friend of ours, actually, Derek Gear, is what are two common Derek Robert Gear, the one and only. What are two common misconceptions that people may have of you? They think one thing, but maybe they're slightly off with their perception or a misconception about you.
Yeah, dude, that's a good question. I know Derek asks that a lot to people, and I haven't thought about that enough for me. I think first one, I do like to bring people in together. So I like to talk to people and get them excited and whatnot. But I think a lot of times then that might almost seem that I want to go surface level. But like the reality is I actually love going super deep with people and actually getting into hard, deep conversations, right away. I think would be one of those things. So
that's good. Yeah.
Second one, pause. We're recording. We're recording.
Hi,
That's my
wife.
That's my wife. Just start recording with youth group. No big deal. We're good. Love you, babe. So second one, not sure. I'd have to think through that one. Do I have time to think through it? I don't know if I could think of another misconception.
We'll come back to you.
All right.
This is another question I'm stealing from a buddy of mine, John Tunger, but what's Rich Baker's superpower? So if you're added onto a team or an organization, when you were at Hume or now that you're at Arbor Road, when you walk into a room or when you walk onto a team, what's Rich Baker's superpower?
Oh man. I love getting in a room with people, for sure. Team. I don't know if I really am able to function if I don't have a team of people. And I don't have to be the leader of the team. I just need to be surrounded by good men and women, that could, you give us an idea to start brainstorming. I love the what if, and blue sky meeting is so fun, but I also like practical. I don't like just always dreaming. I like to really think through ways to see how to make things happen. So I would say bringing a team together and actually talking and dreaming together, I think I really love it. It brings me life, and I think I might be kind of good at that.
You're definitely good at that.
Thanks,
I think one of some of my favorite memories with you are doing recreation up at Hume, and you got 20,000 campers coming in and sitting 2 weeks before camp and just going, all right, let's go. Blank whiteboard, a team of people around us and just dreaming and scheming. And your creativity bounces off the walls there. It's so fun.
And it's always fun to there's no bad idea. If there's, if you set that up ahead of time, there's no bad idea, but it's just let's feed off of each other. I love it. I love that.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Who are the top 3 influences in your life? If you could kind of look back and who has formed you and shaped you, who have those influences been?
I will have to pass on that one. That's a hard question. I think too, it's because being at Hume, I was surrounded by so many good people that legitimately transformed me, spoke into my life of just a young 25-year-old to when I was done, constantly new guys coming into my life and pushing me to be a better follower of Jesus, a better husband and father. Honestly, I don't think that there's 3. I don't think that there's 5. I think that it's a pretty unbelievable number of awesome dudes. That's my son, August.
What's up, August?
You want to say hey?
Can you say hi to NineTen?
Okay, good talk.
Come on.
Yeah, you can't quite hear because of the old earpiece. So I think that's just it's maybe an easy cop out, but I think it's just too hard to name 3 because I've been blessed to have really good people in my life that have called me out and also encouraged me in my walk.
Yeah, that's so good. We
you
always talk
being
about
one of them, Austin. No joke, dude. I love who you are and what the Lord is, how the Lord brought us together. There's just so many good people in my life.
Yeah. Hey, well, ditto. I think you're definitely one of those people that I wouldn't be who I am today, and with a very short list of people, and you're definitely on that list. And so, I love those iron sharpen iron relationships that I have in my life. And we talk about that in NineTen all the time, about the importance of surrounding yourself with people that will speak hard truth into your life and will challenge you and push you. And I love even our life group leaders. We kind of unashamedly say our life group leaders, they're not there to be friends with our students. Like, our students don't need more friends. They need godly men and women in their life that will shape them and challenge them and constantly push them back to Jesus, especially when it hurts, you know.
I could get on a soapbox right now with that, of just the church and what we have, the benefit that we have of having older guys in our church family. We've got Ben West has been, I've talked to you plenty about Ben West, 80-year-old guy at our church. I kid you not, is one of my just dear friends. Like, I just love this guy to death. And one of my first years here, you know, me and him were in a conversation. He said, you know, he's had an amazing relationship with the Lord for so long. And he's telling me this one truth that he lives by, of no Bible, no breakfast. If he doesn't get into the word, he doesn't eat breakfast. And it's like, those are the guys I need in my life. And they're at our church. They're at your church. You just need to find them. How many times we talk about that? You need to get guys in your life group that are actually older than you, a lot older than you, because they have so much history and wisdom, that we need to surround ourselves big time with those men and women in our church, for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, and kind of final question here, Rich. We started a new series this last weekend, and kind of fun actually playing off of a mutual friend of ours, Megan Fate Marshman. She wrote a book called Selfless, and the title of our series is called Selfless, and in parentheses the word less. And we're really looking at like the servitude and the humility and the selflessness of Jesus modeled in the book of Philippians, written by Paul. And in chapter 2, he writes this poem in verses 5 through 11 that's really this gospel center of his entire book to the church of Philippi. And so we're taking 2 weeks, Palm Sunday, Easter Sunday, and then in between we're doing 5 days of Jesus's walk to the cross, 9-10 in the morning. We're doing a video every morning that we're releasing a different stop on Jesus's journey to the cross. But the gospel is it's the heartbeat behind these 2 weeks and really this entire series. And I think sometimes the temptation for us as Christians is that the good news of the gospel is, you know, something we heard at a camp or something we heard, you know, once upon a time, that has future eternal ramifications. But for you, for Rich Baker, how does the gospel make a difference in your daily life?
Wow, good question, man. No holding back punches on that one. I would say, gosh, a lot of ways to answer that. I guess I would say it helps remind me of a right view of God and my desperate need for him. And maybe it's also, I'm reading a book by A.W. Tozer right now, Knowledge of the Holy, but just a right view of understanding. I have to understand who God is. And as I do, I understand who I am. And I can't understand who I am until I have a right view of who he is. But then I recognize my absolute dependency on him. And in light of that, then I'm just desperate for the Lord. And it's because of Jesus, it's because of the cross that allows me once again to have a relationship that's restored because of Jesus with my Creator. So I would say the gospel changes everything, always. It's not just, like you said, a one-time thing of I give my life to the Lord and then one day I'll stand before him. It affects my life every day because I get to have a relationship with him every moment, only because of him, because of the gospel, the good news. So I would say it gives me a right view of him. It reminds me of my need for him, and I'm desperate for him.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that in the beginning of that book by Tozer, right? The opening line of it is he says, like, what comes to mind when we think about God is the most important part of who we are. And if we don't daily remind ourselves of the gospel and the good news that Jesus gave us that access, that he died on our behalf, that we don't serve a dead Jesus, we serve an alive Jesus. We just came off a whole series talking about that, of Colossians chapter 3, of him saying, since then you've been raised with Christ. And then all of these, you know, what does it look like for us to walk daily with Jesus? And I love that you said that. It's the mindset shift. Right? Most of the time I wake up kind of with me front and center, thinking about what I want for the day and what's going to make me happy and my needs and my wants and my comforts. And the gospel instantly flips that switch for me to go, it's actually not about me.
Yeah.
But without that mental switch, humility is lacking and conceitedness is rampant. And man, Philippians chapter 2 is such a wrecking passage for me of do everything, without selfish ambition or vain conceit, have the same mindset as Jesus. But that's impossible without, one, the gospel that allows that, and then two, the gospel that enables that to happen in my life. And
Totally.
I love that challenge. That's so good.
The daily, dude, everything you're talking about isn't just the one-time commit. That's a daily thing that I'm constantly remembering the cross. And if I don't, I will fall back into my centered life. I will constantly go back to, I don't really need the Lord because I have everything else. And it's like, stop. You don't have a right view of who God is then. Because as we do, we recognize I am in desperate need for him daily. I want to be with him. Or I want other things more. And that's a hard fact to chew on. But I think that's the reality is, do we find ourselves saying, I really want the Lord every day? Or is like, I like the Lord sometimes, and then I want other things more than him.
Oof.
As we come to grasps with, man, he is who he says he is. He can do what he said he can do. I need that, and I get that every day only because of the cross. It's mind-blowing, and I want to chew on that, and I want to think about that every moment. That affects me today. It'll affect me tomorrow. The way I love my neighbors, the way I love my wife, my kids, my friends, all of that is affected because of Jesus and what he did for us.
Yeah, man. I can foresee a question that so many of our 9th and 10th graders would have with that. Rich, what do you do when that's not your mindset, when you don't desperately need Jesus? There's got to be days for you where you're like, today I don't feel like I need him. Today I don't. Yeah. And obviously we do, right? Like that knowledge, that cognitive piece is still there, but how do we live out those days where it's like, I don't really need him?
Oh, good, man. One, praying through it for sure. I think I have to start training myself, just like anything, right? I've got to start training my mind to desire him and think about him first. This last few weeks, and maybe you've done it too, Austin, maybe not, but I didn't reach for my phone first thing in the morning very often. I'm not a big time guy on social media. That's a whole nother separate conversation. But the last 3 weeks, I've found myself reaching for my cell phone right away. And it's always to check out the news out of fear, to be honest with you. I'm curious, how big is the number got now? How close is it to Long Beach? How are we doing as a nation? And I would find myself just looking at the news, and here's what would happen is I would just become more anxious and more worried throughout the day because I'm starting my time thinking about things that are making me anxious and more worried. And I stopped it. And it's beautiful now when I go to my phone first thing in the morning, I have to start with the word because I want to get saturated with the right kind of thing first. And then I'm able to start the rest of my day reading things that might cause me to normally worry no more because I'm actually saturated with the right thing that gives me peace first. And then I could conquer anything else in the day. So I would say for me, those days that I find myself choosing me, living for me, it's probably because I started out the day thinking about me. Well, how would that look like of actually starting the day thinking about him and putting him first, the most important thing, seeking first his kingdom, his righteousness first? Everything else will fall into place. That sounds biblical. It's because it is. So it's one of those things of like, what does it look like to really seek him in the morning before anything else starts up? If that means I got to wake up a little bit early, then I should wake up a little bit early because I need to seek him first. Otherwise, I get caught up with too many distractions.
Yeah, that's so good, man. That's so good. I think I'm challenged by that personally, even as we talk about and as we have talked about the importance of a daily relationship with God. Why does that have to stop at daily, right? Why can't that be hourly? Why can't that be like working towards, minutely, if that's a word, of just going like, I want to walk with Jesus in these moments, and can I check in with him once an hour, and then the hours that go by where I don't, giving those back to him and just going like, all right, God, like that last hour, that yesterday, I didn't think about you at all. I didn't spend time in the Word, and I watched it affect me. I want to give that back to you, God, today. I want to work harder to be in your presence. And it sounds funny to go like, I'm going to work at this. And I think that's, a slippery slope, and we can talk about that forever probably, but there is a little bit of that working towards relationship, right? That's how marriage goes. That's how friendship goes. Of any good, healthy relationship requires some of that work. And it doesn't mean that it's works based, but it requires that discipline and that challenge there. But dude, thank you so much for your time, man. I know we could probably talk forever on this, but
which we do. That's what I love, and I miss that. What the heck? Why don't we get more time together?
I know.
Hearing you talk, man, it just makes me smile, and I'm just so proud of you, Austin. I'm proud of what the Lord's doing in and through you. I hope the youth group understands the kind of guy that they have leading, because I know you love them desperately, and you love Jesus desperately, and so it's always good seeing you, my friend.
Hey, thanks, brother. Love you, brother.
All right, my friend. Later, guys.